So, first of all, whether you're in the audience here in studio with us or you're joining us virtually, thanks for attending the first ever Dominate Entrepreneurial Summit. We're going to have 3 panels today with some of the top entrepreneurs in the country. We're going to kick this off with the public relations, branding, and marketing panel. Then we're going to open up with the AI panel and then mindset. So we're going to have Q&A after each session. And both the in-person as well as the virtual attendees have the option to do that. I think we're able to do that still, right? We've got that all cooked up? Yeah. Beautiful. All right, so we'll try that. Just know that there may be tech gremlins that maybe throw us off on that, so we'll see how it plays out. All right, so that being said, my good friend here, Jet, is going to moderate this panel. I needed somebody up here to moderate who's just as good looking as I am. So here we are. So, Jet, I will hand it to you, brother.
Let's go.
All right.
Give that guy a round of applause for me, please. Come on. I've known Jeremy for, I don't know, like 5-6 years now since I've moved to Florida. We were part of a couple of masterminds together, but this guy is so fantastic. He's talking about good looking. Like, I want to grow that beard. Like, I want to be as good looking as he is right now. But Jeremy, you're fantastic, man. Love you, bro.
Brother.
Yeah. What an awesome event that he's put together, right?
100%.
Like the really great things that everybody needs to learn about marketing, AI, and then most importantly, mindset. So you guys are in for a treat today. So I cannot wait to get this started. And also welcome to the studio. Super excited to have you guys here. So you guys are ready?
We are ready.
All right, cool. So before we get started, before we get into those questions, I would like you guys to do a quick introduction of who you are, and then we'll dive deep.
Beautiful.
Ready? So Jeremy, we'll start with you. Give me a quick synopsis of who Jeremy is, and we'll go from there.
All right. So I'm Jeremy Knauff, and I started my first agency pretty much right after I got out of the Marine Corps. Ran that for several years until I had a health crisis that almost killed me. And I spent about 2 years on my deathbed while pretty much everything withered away to nothing. And when I got back into business following that, I leveraged public relations to put myself back on the map. Everything took off so much faster, so much more effective than anything I had ever done before. And that was when I realized how powerful this was. And so I pivoted to focusing entirely on public relations to help other entrepreneurs who've got a great service or they've got a great product and they want to get it out there and create more impact and build a more effective business. And that's who we serve. We follow that same kind of model that I developed kind of on the fly. And that's my story.
Well, that was really short. My goodness. There's a lot more to it than that, I feel like. Hi, my name is Trish Leto. I am the founder of Press Live with Purpose. I started doing live stream video marketing on Facebook back in the day when Facebook had that little Press Live button. And it scared me, but I was doing a little MLM stuff, this thing that we're not supposed to do anymore. But it was the way for me to get the best traction in front of my ideal audience for free, using platforms for free. So I started doing Press Live with Purpose, and I founded a concept called 5-Minute Lives many years ago. And then it turned into something where I started teaching workshops across the country. I got invited to do some military workshops for military entrepreneurs like the MIC. And that's how I met Jeremy. So I'm here today because I've been showing up nonstop, very consistently throughout the last decade plus. And Jeremy sent me a text message and said, "You're talking on my panel." This isn't a question, it's you're doing it. So that's why I'm here. So thank you for having me very much.
My pleasure.
Hi, folks. I'm Remso Martinez, CEO of Marketer on the Run, Vegas's favorite full-service marketing agency. I've been in the marketing space for 10 years, and for some of you in the audience who can see me up close, you're like, how's this teenager been doing this for like 10 years? I'm 30. But, I really got into this about 5 years ago during the pandemic. I was working in a newsroom in Washington, D.C., and quickly discovered that as soon as things started going a little bit downhill, pay cuts came, and I still had bills to pay because those didn't get cut. So I immediately went online, started freelancing, writing sales copy, doing social media management, branding, trying to just do as much as I could. And what I found was that a lot of my small to mid-sized businesses throughout the country, whether it was a nail salon in Toledo, Ohio, or a Chinese restaurant in Alexandria, Virginia, they were struggling. For the next 5 years, I started building that side business up while working in the digital publication space. And in 2024, went ahead and launched my first fractional CMO firm, quickly moved full service. And I've got a pledge. I've got a mission. I'm going to help 100 small businesses across the United States by 2030 develop marketing plans that work, get them to profitability, and create systems that they can run without me. So that's why I do what I do.
Let's go. That was incredible. What a panel here. If you notice that super sexy accent, I'm originally from Haiti. And then once I moved from Haiti, I moved to Toledo, Ohio. I've never heard somebody like mentioning Toledo, Ohio here, like while I'm here in Florida.
It's a real place. You know what it's like to deal. You know what it's like to deal with a Vietnamese nail salon. And I took a few phone calls with them. It was always, Resmo, you're doing so good with the copy. I know we probably just got pulled off the internet with that impression, but yeah, I mean it's everybody. And I mean just to close a loop on that. I mean, coming from Virginia and working in DC, I mean, so many first generation immigrant businesses closed down.
Yeah.
It was 3 out of 5 small businesses throughout the United States that closed their doors for 2 or more weeks and never opened back up. I mean, what we're going to be discussing today through Jeremy, through Trish, through what I can provide, and through what everyone else is going to be speaking on their panels, this is to go ahead and set up the American entrepreneur for success. Everyone has a birthright to succeed on their terms in this country, and that's what makes me incredibly proud.
Amen.
I love it.
Amen.
Thank you for sharing.
Yep.
Shout out to Toledo, Ohio.
Let's go. TOL. EDO. So before we get started, at the end when we are doing Q&A, so I would want you guys, if you have any questions in the room, I would like you guys to come here and stand in that beautiful spot. I'll hand you a mic for you to ask your question, okay? Good? All right, so you guys ready to get started?
Yep.
You guys ready to learn from this beautiful panel? Let's go. So the first question that I have for you guys, as it relates to marketing, should you stick to business or include your personal life in your marketing?
That's a great question. And honestly, I'm blown away that we're still having this question, in 2025. So I see a lot of people, they'll get out there and they'll just create business content and that's it. And it's so absolutely dry and boring. You have to put the personal side in. So there's 2 components to this. You've got the personal side, and that's what attracts people to you. And then the business side is what demonstrates your expertise. So you have to actually show people what you do, how you do it, what makes you different, but you also have to show them that you're a fucking human, right? We have to demonstrate personality so that people will be attracted to us. Now that's also going to repel the wrong people, and that's good. That's okay. We don't want to be worried about that. Now, the other side of that is you don't have to be an asshole.
Jeremy does that anyway, though.
I do. I do.
Sorry. I thought we were supposed to be honest here.
Yes. No, but in all seriousness, there's a degree of truth to that, right? I'm going to say what I think. There's not a single person who knows me who has any question about what I believe. And that's not just because I want to be an asshole. That's because I want to attract the right people and I want to repel the wrong people. Because not only are you bringing in the people who want to do business with you, you're also filtering out the ones who are going to waste your time. They're going to argue with you about what you do. They're going to argue with you about the price. They're going to not see the value because they don't agree with you. So you absolutely have to include both. And I'll hand it off to you.
Oh, I agree with you wholeheartedly. But I also think that it's really important that, when we show up as entrepreneurs, as business professionals, whether our business is a professional where we're wearing a suit, right? We want to see who you are when you're not wearing the suit, right? We want to see who you are when you're wearing, just a pair of yoga shorts and a tank top, cooking something in the kitchen or at your kid's baseball game. You're a human being. And in this age of AI where everything is being automated and we don't know what's real and what's not, right? We need to make sure that we're having that human connection with each other more than anything else. This is more important than ever. Right? So for me, I say absolutely share that. And it's a part of the hero's journey, right? We talk about being the hero in something. But as Jeremy was saying, to kind of bounce off of what he said, your vibe attracts your tribe. So when you show up in, sneakers and a tank top, and I'm out walking my dog every morning showing people I'm trying to drop pounds as I'm, on my sober journey, there are people out there who that's going to inspire, and those are the people who are going to want to work with me, and I'm going to know that they're in the right mindset to do so.
It's one of those things where I think a lot of people kind of like miss the forest for the trees. We became so focused on ourselves because we want to show why we own our business. We want to show the value that we can provide to people. The challenge, though, is that much like that hero's journey, we focus so much on ourselves, we kind of lost focus of who the audience is. And I think that every business is in the same business, whether you're running a Chinese restaurant or a pain clinic or you're selling shoes. We're all in the business of solving problems. And before anyone wants to get to know me, they have one question. Can you do the job? Can you do it fast? Can you do it within budget? And can you deliver me what I want? In that hero's journey, Donald Miller from the Story Brand series of books, which I just ate up in college and everything, he said something which has always stuck with me from when I was in the private sector, working a corporate W-2 job to when I finally went ahead and launched the agency. I realized that to my clients, I was the least important person because they were the hero, because they were on a journey and they needed a guide. And luckily, I had enough experience, I made enough mistakes, I had enough successes that when they came to me, they knew I could be their Obi-Wan Kenobi. And ultimately, we need to be inviting people on that journey. We're not here to talk about Remso. We're not here to talk about Trish in terms of just talk about me, talk about me, talk about me. We're talking about, hey, look at what we've done. I've been there. I've done that. I can help you. Let's do it together.
Amen.
I love that.
Amen.
Love that. And I want to touch on two things something that each of you said. So you talked about the vibe. This is a really important thing, and I hate the word vibe, by the way.
The vibes matter, Jeremy.
Oh, well, Jeremy. It's my word.
Live, laugh, love, right?
Live, laugh, love.
So, but there's an aspect to this that a lot of people don't think about, and it's when you're not really being who you really are. Mm-hmm. Now you seem inauthentic. And people can pick up on that subconsciously. They might not say, hey, this person's full of shit, but they're going to be like, something's off, and I don't want to work with them.
Right? You mean the vibes are off.
Yep.
Right, there you go.
Yep.
So you like that? He's got the little sign in the kitchen.
He didn't know we were going to team up.
Yes. So, and then something Remso was touching on also with the hero's journey. Like every one of you has a hero's journey. Yep. And it's not a matter of creating it. It's a matter of distilling your story into that hero's journey. And it doesn't have to be a huge thing. You're not getting up on stage and talking for 20 minutes about your journey, but it's a little thing that you can work into your story, and it differentiates you from all of your competitors. So that is such a critical component.
Can one question for you guys? You all touch on hero's journey. For the people that are in the audience right now that do not know about hero's journey, could you guys share for them?
Absolutely. I mean, my when I was introducing myself and I talked about the whole deathbed and rebuilding and all of that, that's the hero's journey. It's as simple as that. And you see it in every movie, by the way. You guys see this time and time again. Every movie follows the same line, right? The hero comes in, he has a task to complete. He doesn't have what he needs to do that. He's not strong enough or smart enough or doesn't have the right tools or connections. And then he fails. And then he has to go on a side quest to develop these tools and skills and connections. And then he gets stronger and better and then comes back and overcomes the objective, right? So that's what it is in a nutshell. Anything you guys want to add?
It's the hero's journey is the same thing as like the underdog journey, right? Like whenever we see, especially with like the NFL, you see a football player who came from nothing and you want to watch that story as they they're hitting practice and they're doing things that are difficult. Maybe they hurt a limb and you're like, oh no, not him. He's our favorite running back or he's our favorite defensive guy, right? But you're hooked in and it's an emotional, empathetic connection that you have with that person. And guess what? Now you're fully committed. You want to see that person win because now that's a part of your heart. Like that's a heartstring pull, right? So the more you do that with your audience and the people that you want to attract into your business, guess what? They want to see you win. And not everybody wants to see you win. But when you have that connection and you're the underdog and then they see you win, that proves to them that they can do it too. And that is an incredible connection to have.
There's a lot of people in the world who like you, I hope. I hope there's a lot of people in the world who like you. The question is, though, is how many of them. The vibes are a little off today, Jeremy.
Vibes is going to be the word of the day.
The vibes is the word of the day. There we go. The vibes be vibing. I just lost track. Oh yeah, no. So speaking of vibes, like you got the people where the vibes are like totally off, and then the vibes are kind of off. That has nothing to do with what I'm going to say. You got the people that like you, but how many of those people actually trust you? And I definitely saw this when I was starting off because, the revenue wasn't there. The brand wasn't there. I just needed clients through the door. A lot of what I was doing initially was just, a lot of marketing humor, trying to get people to see how smart I was. As soon as I realized that was bringing me exactly $0 and 0 calls on my calendar, I realized that the vibes were off. Word of the day.
Yeah.
Quickly, I realized that what I could really provide is a peace of mind and the reassurance that I can get the job done. You know, Luke follows Obi-Wan Kenobi because he's a Jedi Knight, Jedi Master, who has been through it all. He wouldn't just follow him to Han Solo if he didn't actually think that this guy knew what he was doing. But he does because he knows that. They have a small interaction after, you know, Luke sees his aunt and uncle get set on fire and is just like nonchalantly, okay, let's go now, which I always thought was weird. But you know, he just understands that, and he's going to qualify him throughout the film, and you see that as they're continuing to get to know each other. If they know you can solve the problem, you know, as you're working through that customer life cycle, they're going to begin to learn more about you. But if they don't trust that you can get the job done first, it doesn't matter how much they like you, they're not going to book a call with you again. They're not going to work with you again. The vibes will be off.
Vibes will be off.
You will not live, laugh, love.
No, you will not.
You will not live,
Absolutely.
laugh, love.
And not only that, not only will they book the call with you, but because if they know that you're going through issues as well, and you're still able to solve the problem for them while you're going through your own fire, that's pretty powerful.
That's huge.
That's huge. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Let me ask you guys a question in the audience over here. How many of you guys commented on my glasses, and my shirt, and my shoes earlier? Many of you. And this is kind of why it's so important to incorporate personal life and personal branding as part of your business. I was attending, I think, Myron Golden's event a couple weeks ago. I go there regularly to his events, and I think he mentioned something along the lines, there is really no such thing as, like, you know, business to business. It's mostly like, even you doing business to business, the people that you are going to connect with, there is a human behind that. So you definitely need to, people don't connect with, you know, businesses, they connect with people. So that's why it's so important to incorporate your personal brand or personal life in your business. Yeah, so incredible topic. I'm glad that you guys, all the things that you shared were spot on and fantastic. You guys ready to go for the next question, or do you have anything else you'd like to share on that?
Absolutely.
You guys?
Keep going. Let's do
I'm
it.
good.
Cool. So with the rise of AI and social media, how has public relation evolved?
So a little bit of clarity on that first. You know, when we say public relations, of course, everybody thinks of PR, the media, stuff like that. But the reality is public relations is every aspect of you communicating with the public, with your audience. So everything really is public relations. So when it comes to AI, I've seen a lot of people make a lot of really stupid mistakes. You guys have all seen this. How many of you have opened up your feed, Facebook, X, whatever, and you see a post and you know that they didn't write that? It's some AI generated garbage. It's not how they talk. It's not how any human talks. It just sounds like utter trash, right? What's your reaction when you see that? You think they're stupid.
The vibes are off.
The vibes are off. Yes. Well done, Remso. I tried. But you look at it and you feel that they are inauthentic, right?
Yeah.
And if we are talking about this purely from a PR perspective, where I see a lot of people make mistakes is they'll go and they'll have a ChatGPT or Grok or whatever write their pitch that they then send to the journalist. These are people who write and read for a fucking living. You think they're not going to tell that that's AI?
Yep.
There's private groups that you guys will never see that journalists and media professionals are in, and they laugh at you when you do this shit. And they put screenshots up and they put your name out there. And as a result of that, you get ignored. Journalists have blacklists that people don't even know about. And there's some people that, Lee, you know somebody who's on a lot of those blacklists from our mastermind groups. Once you get on a blacklist, you're not getting anywhere. You're not getting featured. So don't do that. It's something the journalists are always complaining about, but it's also the public. They see it, they can tell it's inauthentic, and it hurts you. The other thing is, you take something at face value that you got from AI and you go put it out on the internet, and there's something wrong in there, you look like an idiot. Now your credibility is in question because you have said something that is factually incorrect. If you're supposed to be an expert in that field and you don't even know the details of your industry, that damages your credibility in a huge way. And that's the kind of thing that can go viral pretty quickly. Maybe not like viral as in, you know, the general public all knows who you are and they all think you're an idiot. But it is the kind of thing that people in your industry will talk about. And that means the people that run the trade publications, the people that are in charge of deciding who speaks at events, things like that. So if you lean too heavily on this and you don't fact check everything, it could definitely hurt your brand in a huge way.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. You and I have had countless conversations about this as well. And I think you just recently even did a presentation about AI pretty recently,
Yes.
teaching about this. So,
Yeah.
and kudos to you because you know what you're talking about. I love when I get to sit down to somebody who actually knows what they're talking about and can speak very intelligently about these things. From my standpoint, I learned how to use AI from my business coach several years ago when ChatGPT first became a thing. And he taught me how to use it in a way that helped to accentuate my business and not replace anything with my business. And I'm going to kind of explain to you what I mean by that. We as women wake up in the morning. I'm 47 years young. Thank you very much. And we wake up in the morning, and the first thing that we like to do before we go anywhere is we put a little bit of makeup on our face, okay? Maybe it's a little bit of mascara, maybe it's a little gloss, but it's something to accentuate what's already there that's already lovely about ourselves. So I liken AI, especially like ChatGPT, when we're writing AI or using it, to just accentuate or highlight what we already have that's wonderful about our business and our brand, and not use it to replace that or to make us sound more intelligent than we already are. We're intelligent human beings already, and we know how to continuously grow and learn and get better, right? So my whole take on AI is to use it to do just that, accentuate or highlight the things that we're good at, but don't use it to replace our thoughts or our mouths or our human connection with people.
A couple things. One, Jeremy touched on those blacklists. Those are real.
Yeah.
Those are 100% real. It's not like, your permanent record in high school or whatever. They exist. And then what Trish just mentioned about AI being the modifier. I live in, as I mentioned, I live in Las Vegas. And if there's something everyone knows about Las Vegas, it's that it's full of authentic people.
It's vibing.
It's vibing. And sometimes the vibes are off. But it's amazing because, we touched this in the other question, the big thing that I'm seeing, especially working in a big city, is that, entrepreneurship has really become part and parcel of influencer culture. And people can immediately tell. And the big lesson I learned when I got to Vegas was that Vegas is a big, small town. People talk and people gatekeep because they want to see who's serious. And I think that's done for very intentional reasons. You want to make sure that the people coming into town and the people that are trying to grow a brand and grow themselves are authentic. But, as somebody that works with a lot of celebrities and public figures, they're looking at this and they're like, well, how did this person go ahead and get 100,000 followers overnight? How are they creating all of this content? When it comes to the stuff that we're doing now, which is we're talking live, you can see that there's no phone or whatever in front of me. I might make a mistake. I might say something I might, not want on a live stream. However, you can't make this up. You can't suddenly fake expertise. You cannot fake your personality because at some point you're going to get in front of people at that mastermind meeting, at that Chamber of Commerce event, at that chicken dinner or gala, wherever you go. People can tell immediately whether or not the vibes are off. And right now what we're seeing is we're separating the boys from the men, the wheat from the chaff. And I think this is great because you're going to see who the authentic people are and you're going to see who the fakers are. And if you're using AI to modify your brand and everything, you're going to do fine. If you're using it to completely fake a person, you're on borrowed time.
100%.
Yep.
100%. Yep.
Awesome. Thank you guys for sharing for that. So amazing what you guys shared. And I hope you guys are taking notes in the public over here. You guys ready to move to the next question?
Indeed.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So now that we talked about AI and social media and public relation, how it has evolved, what should people do now?
Well, wait.
And this is more for like effective marketing. What should people do now as it relates to creating effective marketing?
Yeah. So a couple of things. One, it almost kind of sounds like we're bashing AI a little bit. And, I don't want that to be interpreted as that being the case. There's valid uses for AI to get more out of your marketing. And when Francis, Bob, and Adam come up later on in the next panel, you guys are getting a lot of practical how-to on that. There's a lot of really cool things you can do with AI to get more out of your marketing, to automate kind of menial tasks that you shouldn't be wasting your time with. But the other thing is you need to be everywhere, right? We can't just rely on any one channel. And it's not like you can't say, oh, well, I'm doing great on Facebook ads, or I'm doing great in Google search, so I'm just going to go all in on that. For those of you who have been following on the search side, for example, the HCU update, which was like basically over the last 2 years, Google has destroyed a huge number of businesses. Yeah. Well, if you're all in on that and you're not doing anything else, you're screwed. And now you have to scramble and try to find other channels and find new ways to acquire clients. And that's not a good position to be in. So you need to use the tools that are available, and you need to build systems and processes so that you're not out here trying to make shit up on the fly, trying to reinvent the wheel every time. When you have effective systems and processes in place for your marketing, you're going to get exponentially more impact. And more importantly, you can hand off certain aspects of it to other people, whether it's a VA or an in-house marketer, whatever it may be. So that's my thoughts on that aspect of it.
So, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I feel like if I didn't agree with you, you'd be like, really, Trish, why are you here? No, I'm just kidding. So let's talk about AI from a little bit more of like a macro level, okay? When we say AI, most people immediately think ChatGPT, right? Or the AI images, whatever images are created. But we have to remember that AI is everywhere. Right? We open up our phones, we're ordering something off of Amazon. Guess what? That's AI. That is artificial intelligence. You put shampoo in your cart, and it's going to say, hey, we also recommend that you get some conditioner with that. Maybe some leave-in conditioner, maybe some volumizing mousse. Heck, why don't you get a hair dryer too? And you keep adding to cart. Well, similarly, if you're on, say, Facebook or TikTok, if you're on Facebook, you're going to maybe put together a reel. When you're putting together that reel, you record the video, you upload the video onto your Facebook stories, and guess what? Facebook is going to detect what the video encompasses inside of it, and it's going to choose your music for you. That is AI. And if you use that music, that AI is going to help deliver your message and your story to a wider and more broad audience. So you want to use that. 100% you want to use that. Some people want to use their own music. That's all good and fine. But if that platform is detecting your video is better to be to AC/DC than it is to, say, Taylor Swift, then guess what? Choose AC/DC because they're going to carry you through to the algorithm. It's the same thing with TikTok. So that's just one point of how AI is truly everywhere, there to help you with your business and not necessarily hurt you.
To kind of pivot a little bit of this, when I started Marketer on the Run, it was strictly fractional CMO, where I'm going to come in and I'm going to help businesses of all and every size build up their teams, create the practices, and be that trusted mentor along the process. The funny thing, though, is that a lot of folks come to me, and I saw this a lot in the nonprofit sector, which was kind of bothersome because you're dealing with a different type of environment than you are in the private sector. But a lot of them came to me with this remark: ChatGPT couldn't do the job, so I'm hoping you can. The funny thing about that is 4 years ago, I was mainly just doing copywriting work. And quickly, when the commercially available version of ChatGPT came out, a lot of my clients immediately saw that and said, I can just go ahead and have this thing do it, and I don't need to go ahead and pay Remso. So that kind of messed things up for me because suddenly I found myself out of all of my extra money. And quickly, I had to pivot. I started learning how to film short form content, which I don't like doing, but it's something I had to quickly pivot and learn to do because that's what the market demanded. During that time, though, I was continually learning how to use ChatGPT and all these other open source tools to, improve my work and do better and understand what I could and could not do with it. So a year later, almost all those clients came back to me and said, the stuff that it was producing is absolute crap. I need your help. So, of course, with a smile, I said, absolutely, I'd love to work with you again. And my rates went up. And they didn't argue with me.
There you go.
I felt so baller in that moment. I'm like, yeah, so by the way, I'm happy that we're back together, but I got a lot more expensive. And they were just like, just take my money. Just take it. And I was like, let's do this. I could take your money. And use all these tools that you were using, and I could amplify my skills. With that said, though, there's to not completely bash on AI and everything, a lot of what I'm doing is I'm trying to build confidence in my clients because I think much like a good therapist, much like a good doctor, if I can get you to the point where you don't need me one day, because you're confident and you're successful, I actually think I've done a good job. That's my purpose, to make you feel confident in what you can do. And I think what you're seeing right now is a lot of people are rushing to AI and they're quickly getting burned by it. They're like, I tried ChatGPT, I tried Grok, I don't know what all this other stuff is. Much like any other skill, it takes time, it takes confidence. And I think the businesses that are slow to, slowly get involved with it and learn what they need to know, they're going to do fine. The ones that completely ignore it, I'm sorry, the genie's out of the bottle. Pandora's box is open. If you don't learn it, you will be left behind. So treat it as a trusted friend, a trusted intern at most. It's not your doctor. And slowly, much like any other intern, maybe you can get them to the point where, oh, I know how to handle this. It knows how to handle this. It's a tool that needs to be a scalpel, not a hammer.
100%.
Love it.
Yep.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you guys for sharing. Going back to personal branding that we talked a little bit earlier, what mistakes do you see people make as it relates to building their personal brand?
The biggest thing I see, it's kind of a toss-up between two things. One is expecting that it will just happen, right? If I just get out here and just start posting stuff, I'm going to build a personal brand. I'll be the next big influencer. This is not build it and they will come, right? That's why that mindset is why things like the shake weight exist.
I thought I was going to get that for you for Christmas, but
What are the odds that we got each other the same gift?
did you look at my Amazon wish list?
That's why I'm in therapy.
Oh boy.
I knew the vibes were off.
Yes, they
The
were.
vibes are off. The vibes are definitely off.
Indeed.
You all know what to get us now.
Yes.
I fly a lot. You gotta get work where you can, man.
I
You gotta
get that.
you gotta get that gym progress in where you can.
You got to do what you got to do, man. I get it. But it is there is this mindset, right? I can't tell you how many people I've talked to who, when they finally get to the point where they're like, all right, I'm going to go out and I'm going to build a personal brand. And they go and they put a couple videos out and they're like, well, fuck, I don't have any new followers yet. Like, yeah, you put out 3 videos. What the hell do you expect, right? We have to get out here and we have to do things consistently because, first of all, most of what you're putting out is not going to be seen by anybody. You have to consistently post content until the algorithm starts to see it and it says, hey, this person is posting content. Like you look at Trish, she is posting like every 3 seconds.
It feels that way for sure. Yes.
But there's that consistency, and the more you do it, A, the more that people see it, and B, the more that the algorithm starts to expect it. And then what will happen is, because people expect it, now they start looking for it. Now they start engaging on it when they see it. They like it. They comment on it. They share it. Now that sends additional signals to the algorithm that, hey, this content's good. More people want to see it. So it starts showing it to more people. And now you're getting boosted not only by the people, but also by the algorithm. And then the other side of it is being authentic. You know, people will come out and they're afraid of offending anybody. They're afraid of alienating somebody. So they're like, well, I'll just be in the middle so I appeal to everybody. No, that doesn't work. You cannot appeal to everybody. Even toilet paper doesn't appeal to everybody. There's different kinds of toilet paper, right? Some people like the cheap shit that we had in the MREs, you know.
Hey man, you take what you can get.
On that.
You mean
know?
sandpaper?
Yeah, pretty much, right? These two are also fellow veterans, by the way. But then you've got the people that are like, you know, it's like an inch thick and it's quilted and it's super fluffy, right? So even in toilet paper, a thing that everybody needs, there's different brands that appeal to different people. So none of us are as universally needed as toilet paper, right? So we have to do something that is going to attract the right people and repel the wrong people. And the only way to do that is to be 100% authentic and just be purely who you are.
Yeah, and I
Trish?
think I totally agree with you, and I actually really enjoy that really good fluffy toilet paper now. To be honest with you, I will fight somebody in Costco for the good stuff.
I've seen her do it.
Those hemorrhoid scars don't go
I
away.
can take it. My vibe attracts my tribe. I agree. No, I agree with you. But I think the most important thing where it comes to like building that personal brand is understanding that it is in fact a marathon and it's not a sprint, right? So when I say that, it's also not only is it a marathon, it's a long-term goal, but we have to make sure that we know what the goal is, and we got to go all in on that goal. If we say that we want to build a personal brand on, say, selling houses for a living, well, then you can't be selling houses and toilet paper and plates and cars, right? You got to pick one thing and go all in on it for as long as you possibly can until you're making so much money that the toilet paper is plentiful and it's packed in your garage. You know what I'm saying? So there's that piece to it. But then there's also, like Jeremy was saying, you got to make sure that you're being very authentic. You're being exactly who you are. And at the end of the day, make sure you're telling your story. Don't leave it to somebody else to tell your story. If there's something about you that you don't want people to know, tell your story like a stand-up comedian would. Make fun of yourself. I have been doing this for years, and you know what? It lands every time. I've been sober from drinking alcohol for over 2 years, and I have made a joke out of it every single day on my Tickety Talk. And you know what? I have people that message me privately and say, thank you for making it okay to talk about this, right? So just go all in on it, be who you are, and just remember it's a marathon. Let the AI pick up on all of your keywords, on everything that you're talking about, and it's gonna help drive that vehicle for you to bring it to more and more people.
Well, let's call Dr. Phil for a second. I have an audience question because I think it should be addressed. How many of you have heard imposter syndrome? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you don't have to hold your hand up for this one, but like, how many of you have felt imposter syndrome? The guy with the green beard obviously is not. That's killer, man. I just noticed that. That's dope.
Does that have glitter in it? It's glitter.
Well,
there's glitter in it.
That's nice. That man does not have that. He should be up here. The thing that I quickly realized, and this is every entrepreneur's journey, is that you're going to feel that. It's called insecurity. I'll like making it sound like it's something more. I mean, we replaced sympathy with empathy. We replaced insecurity with imposter syndrome. You're just insecure, man. Like, that's just it. Everyone feels that way. Here's where I struggled, and here's where I see a lot of my clients struggle. They feel that the moment they go online, whether they've been in their industry for decades or whether they're just starting a business, the moment they put themselves out there, they feel this urge for perfection, and that perfection kills. But the one thing that you need to remember, especially since, when my big mistake was I thought I'm competing globally because all my services are competing against Fiverr and Elancer and all these other agencies. And now I'm also dealing with, outsourced firms and everything. Here's what I realized with that. I didn't need to be perfect. I just need to be in the arena. I didn't have to try and get everybody. I just had to find my people. I stopped looking as, I need to compete everywhere. And I was like, I just need to focus on Las Vegas because I don't need to be the best marketer out there. I don't need to be the best agency out there. I need to be my client's favorite.
Yes.
Because if you are their favorite, it doesn't matter if you're not the best person out there. They will keep coming back to you. They will refer people to you. It goes back to that authenticity factor. Do they feel like they know, like, and trust you? Mm-hmm. You've just got to peel that bandage off and run with it, guys, because if you are like some of my clients who are like, well, I've got all these videos out and I've written all these blogs and I've done all this stuff, but you never press publish because you were afraid that somebody might not like it. They weren't your people to begin with. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be your client's favorite person that does what they need you to do. And it's amazing how quickly you're going to feel so much better about yourself.
It's that relatability factor. I completely agree with you. Yep.
Absolutely. The vibes matter.
Absolutely. The vibes be vibing.
And touching on the imposter syndrome thing, something to think about, and I think this will make a lot of you guys feel a lot better about that. Stupid people don't have imposter syndrome. Okay? Think back to somebody that you've worked with who never doubted themselves. There you go.
Oh, boy.
Did they seem intelligent to you guys? You're all picturing somebody in particular right now. There's a visual picture in your head. All right. So you know what I'm talking about. So be grateful. If you have imposter syndrome, it means that you're intelligent. And it means that you're always looking to improve yourself. So it's actually a good thing.
It is a good thing.
Yes.
And you're absolutely right. I agree with you 100%. You see people
Yeah.
don't experience.
As
And you see them on social
yeah.
media all the time.
I'm picturing a guy that I used to work with. He looked like a baboon.
Oh,
He was this
boy.
little short guy with red hair. Oh my God.
As we are wrapping up the first session over here, this was amazing, wasn't it, guys? Fantastic. I would like to ask you guys one more question, and making it very quick because we'll move to Q&A in just a second. Now that we've talked about public relations, branding, and marketing, what is your parting advice? What is the one thing that you would like to share with this public, the people in here and the people watching us online? What is the number one thing that you would leave them with as it relates to building their personal brand? What is the biggest advice that you have for them?
I would say, for me, it's a quote that I came up with on my last deployment. And it is, failure catches the weak when they put today's comfort over tomorrow's goals. And what I mean by that is, you all know the things that you need to be doing. You need to be putting out content. You need to be making connections. You need to be engaging with other people. You need to be doing all of these things to build your brand. If you're not doing them because, oh, well, I've got this other thing I have to do, or I'm not really sure that this is the message I want to send, or maybe people won't like it if I say this, like, that's all holding you back. You know what you need to do. Get out there and do it.
Trish?
I would say, so the reason why I'm sitting here today is because I gave myself permission to step back out into the social media platforms and start doing it again. But I made a promise to myself when I did it. And I said I was going to make it fun. For the love of God and everything holy, make it fun. Make it joyful. Laugh at yourself. Laugh at yourself. That imposter syndrome will diminish more and more and more when you just laugh at yourself. And you see the people who are out there building incredible brands that have TikTok accounts that they've grown from 0 to 26,000 plus followers simply because they pressed that button, they created content, and they laughed at themselves, myself included, right? You got to have fun with it. If it's not fun, then what are we doing anymore? Right? What is life all about? Life is about growing a business and being joyful and having a good time. And if we're any of us or we have children, right? Our children are seeing that. I'm a leader. I'm a life coach to my kids every single day of my life, whether I like it or not, right? And if my kids see that I'm daunted and that I'm filled with anxiety and that I'm depressed as I'm doing this business thing on social media, what kind of a message does it send to them? Hell to the no is what I say. No. I'm going to have a good time with it. And if I say, hey, mom's going to make a TikTok real quick, I don't let them on with me. I protect them from social media, but I make it joyful and I have a good time with it. That's the most important message that I can give you.
Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I've always kept with me from when I was an officer in the Army was the bad days are guaranteed. Mm-hmm. It's your ability to move on, whether you like it or not, which is ultimately going to determine how successful you are. And to just focus on, the marketing side of it, I want to say this specifically to the marketers that are watching this, because the last 5 years have been like the Red Wedding from Game of Thrones. It's like 1 minute you feel you're on top of the world, the next minute, you're on a date with Ed Gein. I'm sorry, I saw that Netflix show the other day, and that's all I think about right now. Don't watch that with your kids. But stuff happens. Like you're gonna get hit by that. For marketers especially, everything was social media management, and then the pandemic came, and then it was we have to move everything to email. Then it was, well, we need to go ahead and do short form video. Then it was, no, we just need to go ahead and optimize our pay-per-click. It feels like you wanted to come in and do one thing. And as I mentioned earlier, when I was having to learn how to film TikToks and everything for like laser tag arenas and stuff, guess what? I hated every second of that. However, I did it because I had bills to pay. I was a copywriter. I was one of those marketers that said, I'm a great copywriter, and I'm only going to do copywriting because copywriting is what's always going to pay my bills. Turns out I'm an above average copywriter because the great copywriters kept making a ton of money, and all my clients left me for ChatGPT. So that was a humbling moment. But you have to engage, overcome, and adapt, because we're not in the arena of I'm just the guy that does stuff on Canva, or I'm the person that's going to go ahead and lay out your blueprint for the next product launch or service campaign or whatever. We're not in the business of doing the things. I have some people that are like, well, I only go ahead and do the SEO. I only go ahead and do the website design. No, you're a marketer because your purpose is to build connection, to get people to become loyal to brands and to make money so that way you can go ahead and actually live out the life you want to do. I'm not in the business of Facebook, as my parents might say, oh, my son does X and Instagram and stuff. No, I'm in the business of making you money, making you look awesome, and giving you a chance to do what you want to do. Happiness is a fleeting feeling, but if you're purposeful, you're never going to not have a reason to wake up.
Boom. That was
So
incredible.
nice.
100%.
The vibes are totally there.
Vibes are vibing. The vibes
Somebody
are
in the
vibing.
back like, yeah. I'm like,
Let's
yes.
go.
Yeah, that's right.
Can you guys give those guys a round of applause, please? Fantastic, guys. You guys crushed it. So now we're gonna open it up for Q&A. Anybody in here would like to ask a question? Come over here.
Oh yeah, I love questions.
If you ask me what color shake weight, we're ending this now.
Well, since you read my
definitely
mind,
red.
what color is it?
Anybody else that has a question, can you please line up over here? We'll keep this short, maybe like 2 or 3 more. But if you guys have any questions, come over here and line up. So when it's done, we can move to the next question, okay?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Great panel. I learned a lot about marketing, branding, and really being yourself. I'm Terrell Humphrey. I'm with Valerie and Action Zone. My question is really random. For the effects is on the screen right here. How did you loop the video?
It's a stock video,
Mhm.
so I guess they created it with some. I have no idea. All I can tell you is it's.
Honesty.
I don't know how they created it, but it's a stock video. So it basically the end frame is exactly the same as the beginning frame, and so when it gets back, it just keeps going through that loop.
I appreciate it.
All
Thank
right.
you.
My pleasure.
Hey, good morning, everyone. So I'm Dr. Brittany Costongway, also here with Action Zone. Love me some Valerie.
Awesome.
So we talk about imposter syndrome and being insecure, right? And so I believe that when you have to be transparent, authentic, you have to share your story. And so that's something that I love to share my story with other women, especially those in business. A lot of times they'll respond back to me, well, I'm not as cool as you. I'm like, you can also get your hair shaved. It's fine. But what tips, maybe this is more for Trish, what tips are you going to give for those other entrepreneur females to embrace yourself and show the world how cool and awesome you are?
Oh boy, I mean, if I'm cool and awesome, then yay, I'm doing something right. No, this is that's a really good question. And what I tell other women is we're not all cool and we're not all awesome, and it doesn't have to be that, because then they're going to attract people who are just like you. Maybe you're a little bit more of a, you've got more of an introvert piece to you, right? You're a little bit more, and there's also the power of faceless content. If you don't want to show your face, you can share your story with AI or with other ways. You can tell your story different ways. You can write a book, you could do some really nice posts, whatever it looks like. So I say, first and foremost, look at all of the people. We see them everywhere, all over social media. There are definitely some wackadoodles out there, right? I'm going to call it what it is, right? There are definitely people out there that are showing us every day that they're not scared to get on the internet and do the thing. So if you do have that fear, then look at those people. Look at people like yourself, or myself, right? It's not easy for me to do what I do. And I like to think that I'm pretty cool, but I'm also not that cool sometimes to my kids. So if I look at myself from my kids' eyes sometimes, and I just say, oh God, I still got to get on the internet and do the thing. So I just say, just be who you are, again, authentically. And, fear is just false evidence appearing real, right? It's not, 100%. So you don't know until you get out there and you do it. And you don't know what you need to know until you need to know it. And other people deserve to learn from people like us. Doesn't matter. So, yeah.
But if you're not cringy, you're not a parent.
That's right.
Oh man, I got that Phil Collins song. I could feel it in the air tonight as soon as I saw you walk up.
Well, with that great introduction, my name is Taylor with an E, it's silent. My question is for you, Jeremy.
Yeah.
What are you doing to help marginalized business owners, people that are from marginalized communities?
You mean like my clients or some random black guy? Like, what are we talking about here?
Marginalized communities have a broad variety of definitions, people of different genders, people of different backgrounds, ethnicities, religions.
That's interesting. I do a lot with my clients. I don't do anything with random labels.
You sound like the kind of person that has a gun underneath his pillow.
I'm the kind of person who has a gun in this room.
Support that. And there we have it.
My name is Laura Hartman. My question is for Jeremy.
Yes.
It's related to censorship. So as a prior VA nurse and now a functional nurse that's working in the community with ivermectin and some other quote unquote taboo medications that are showing effectiveness in stopping cancer, saying that is at high risk for censorship.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts and how do we work with that?
So the censorship landscape has changed quite a bit in recent years. You know that I was banned on Facebook, censored quite a bit on X, old Twitter, back in the day.
Was it because of your shake weight comments?
Absolutely. Well, it was the pictures of you that I shared. So
I thought we agreed those weren't getting out, but
GIFs.
okay.
yeah, well, things happen sometimes. What happens in Vegas doesn't always stay in Vegas. But the censorship landscape has changed. The things that you used to not be able to say on Facebook, now you can. And you can see this looking through the comment threads of any post. The things that a year ago you would have been censored for or attacked everywhere, now you just see these comments and people are saying what they think, and the platforms are not censoring people anywhere near as much. Now, if you attack people in certain ways, very aggressively, then they will kind of censor that comment or things like that. But they're not doing the censorship to the same level. Now, you're in a little bit of a different situation because it is medical, and there are governing bodies that could intervene there. So I guess what I would do in your situation is maybe look for alternative ways to communicate with people. So you could build a platform that people can go and talk freely about this kind of thing. There's plugins for WordPress specifically that give you all the functionality that Facebook has on your own completely private platform. So that might be a path for you. You will have the challenge of driving people to a new platform. Nobody wants yet another platform, right? We've already got how many social media networks that we have to deal with. But, I think it's really going to come down to basically owning the platform. Use the platforms that exist to drive people back to your platform, but just know it's going to be a hard road on that. Did you guys want to add anything on that?
I love to. I see people on the Tickety Talk all the time that do this thing where they there's one guy in particular. I'm going to give you an example. There's one guy in particular who his entire platform is talking about his political beliefs, but instead of talking about the political beliefs, he dances around the room and he does these ridiculous interpretive dances, and then he uses text on screen to talk about how he feels about that particular situation. So you can also use ChatGPT to give you alternative words to use instead of using the and things like that. People do it. They do it all the time. So you can still get your point across without having those words in there, and you'll still push through the algorithm. Another thing you can do is layer it with some music and put the music on mute, because that music is going to help to push your video out more. So let the AI pick your music and then mute the music, and then all we hear is you.
I've got one thing to add on this topic because it kind of gave me Robert Duvall Vietnam flashback for a second. I was part of the largest corporate sabotage in American history in 2021. I worked for a social media company called Parler, and within about 1 week, we just got completely decimated because of claims that were made by a number of U.S. politicians, the FBI, and CNN. It took about 7 months for the FBI to absolve that company of any alleged wrongdoing. No charges were ever filed. One of the reasons why my business is called Marketer on the Run is because I was working in marketing at that company. I was one of the junior executives. And when everything happened after the 2020 election, I was seeing all this stuff on TV where they were saying, we're going to go ahead and subpoena all these people and we're going to bring them in. I got accused of working for Russian oligarchs, which I think is funny because those checks never hit. And it was one of those situations where I was on the phone with my attorney at the time, and I was like, dude, I'm trying to find a job right now. GameStop won't hire me. What's going on? And he's like, Remso, if they go ahead and pull you in front of the House Oversight and Reform Committee, what they're going to do is they're going to turn it into, a Salem witch trial.
Yep.
And they're going to just completely burn you. So then they can use all of those, sound bites for all their fundraising emails. So I was like, okay, how does that help me? That's not really helping me right now. And he was like, they can only subpoena you if they find you. And I was like, what does that mean? He's like, you should go on an extended, unplanned vacation across the country. So that was fun because I found myself in like that Chris Farley situation. You're down by a van, you're down living in a van down by a river. I was with an army buddy of mine in North Carolina in a van down by the river. And I was just like, what's happening? Long story short, when that happened, a lot of businesses that had been banned on Twitter, that had been banned on Facebook, they quickly found that they were what I call social sharecropping. They were going ahead and putting their entire crop on somebody else's property, and just like that overnight, they could have it completely taken away. Hundreds, potentially thousands of businesses that were using Parler to reach their audience lost all their revenue overnight. And to wrap this up, one of the friends I made while working there was Ben Stein from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Bueller, that guy. Okay, some of you are way older than me. You should know that. Ben was, when I met him, he was very anti-social media, but he was extremely pro-free speech, and he had a lot to say. Ben went from 0 followers to about 250,000 followers on Parler. He went ahead and launched his podcast, The World According to Ben Stein, and that was really fun. And then AWS, Amazon Web Services, gave Parler about 7 days to go ahead and migrate their cloud servers to literally anywhere else. And I remember being on the phone. It was like at 1 o'clock East Coast time, so it was really late at night in Beverly Hills. He's just like, Remso, and I'm like, is this Ben Stein calling me? And it was just a weird night. And I'm just like, Ben, what's up? And he's like, they're about to go ahead and take this down. I'm like, I know, Ben, everyone and their mother's calling me about it. And he's like, what do I do? And I'm like, just, start promoting what you do on other social media platforms. And he's like, Remso, I don't have any other social media platforms. What I did for Ben, and this is how after Parler went kaput and I still had some money coming in, I became his newsletter copywriter. Because immediately I was like, well, do you have an email list? And he's like, Remso, this is 2021. Who has an email list? And I was like, okay, you need an email list. We grew that from 0 to 12,000 in about 24 hours. And that email list to this day is still how he primarily communicates with his audience. So it doesn't matter whether you were a small business or whether you were a guy that worked for the Nixon administration who was in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. If you don't own your audience, you own nothing. 100%. Take none of it for granted. If you do not own your audience, you own nothing.
Can I hiccup? I want to.
Before you ask that question, Trish, we are way over time allotted. So what we're gonna do, I'll let you do it quick, and then we have 3 more questions. And I've already talked to them. They're gonna ask them very quickly, and I would like to ask you guys to keep it on time because we are probably like 6 minutes over right now. So
right, why don't we do this then? Why don't we take those 3 questions outside of here, and we'll switch the panels up for the next one so we don't screw up the schedule here.
Perfect. Yeah. Sounds good.
All right.
Cool.
Sorry, man. I was just vibing.
Vibing.
All right, guys.
We'll take the questions.
The real short question was, what's the difference between karma and vibing?
Karma and vibing. Love
the
it.
outcome.
The outcome. That's right. Hell of an answer. That was great.
Well, thank you so much, guys, for being a fantastic panelist. You guys shared so much gold here today, and I hope that you guys took a lot of note because of all the great things that they said. So we are going to take a quick little break. We'll play one quick video, and then we'll transition to the next panel. Okay?
Awesome.
Sounds great.
I encourage you guys to look up Trish and Remso on social media. Give them a follow. You're going to find tons of great information from them on a consistent basis.
Thank you. Yeah.
Let's go.